Well, hi there. Warm welcome. You're watching Blueprint Explosive Exclusive, and I'm Meghna Deka.
हम इसी महीने ये फिल्म रिलीज करना चाहते थे in memory of those lives that were lost, in memories to those wounds that are still raw, in memory of the sadness that engulfs Jallianwala Bagh even today. This film is not a homage, it is not an honor, it is yet a film that asks the British Empire for an apology through the brave narrative of Sankaran Nair.
Raghu Palat is also the great-grandson of Sankaran Nair, and in his book he provides a first-hand report of one of the oldest trials in history where Nair battled the British authorities to bring the perpetrators of Jallianwala Bagh massacre to justice. So let me go across to Pushpa and Raghu Palat. Thank you so much for joining us with your book, which has inspired a film. But can you also elaborate on how this case that your great-grandfather had fought influenced India's freedom struggle and the public perception of British justice? Did the case play a role in reshaping somehow the nationalist movement in India itself, especially among the Sikhs who were at the time deeply affected by this massacre?
Absolutely. I'll start by saying Mahatma Gandhi's, wrote about it in the Statesman, saying that Sir Nair put the British Constitution and the British system on trial and found it wanting. It was only after this trial that Indians realized that there cannot be justice for Indians by the British, and reaffirmed the commitment to have self-rule, not rule under the British in any way. The people in the Punjab went against, their loyalty was tested, and the loyalty for Britain vanished, was extinguished because of the case when all the revelations came out.
But do you believe that cinema, in this case a cinematic adaptation like Kesari Chapter 2, is going to be attempted, can effectively educate the audiences about lesser known historical events such as this case? Many have said that the legacy of Sankaran Nair has been lost in the pages of history. People barely knew about him, despite the fact that he was the president of the Congress in that era. People still don't know anything about him.
Yes, definitely. It was going worldwide on the 18th. So yes, definitely it can. And yes, more movies like this are, should be seen and should be made. Because yes, he did contribute. He was he was the most powerful yes, Indian at that time. So nobody knows about him. Now everybody gets to know him.
Well, it is unfortunate.
You must also realize that after he came to know about the massacre and the Punjab atrocities, he resigned from the Viceroy's Executive Council. He was at the pinnacle of his career, the most powerful Indian at the time.
Right.
And 3 days after he resigned, press censorship in the Punjab was lifted. 4 days later, martial law in the Punjab was lifted, and the fact that he had resigned reverberated up to the House of Commons in England, and it was because of that the Hunter Commission was instituted to find out what had occurred in the Punjab.
Otherwise, it would have simply been written off. After that, of course, General Dyer was also transferred back. Of course, there is very little that can be said about the British justice system, and of course, this is something which is going to give a glimpse of how the Patriots had to fight in that era, despite the biases that they were facing. But also interestingly, because you speak about it, after the release of this trailer, that most of us admitted have said that we are finding out about a personality like Mr. Sankaran Nair just now after this, despite the remarkable feats that he's achieved in his life, from going to a noted figure in the Viceroy's Council to rejecting his knighthood to even suing the Crown. That is the kind of legacy there has been. But why do you think there has been such a dearth of knowledge so far about Nair and his contribution to the freedom struggle?
Well, the history is written by the victor. So that's a different point of view. Today, we got the chance, and many others will have got the chance and will get the chance to write the story from the Indian perspective. So that's what we did in this book.
We are attempting to do that. You know, we are trying to rewrite history from the Indian perspective. And not only that, you see, we are trying to write history on personalities from South India.
The reason is because the South's leaders are not as well known. They have been quite reticent.
Oh, that's very interesting. That's an interesting point, Pushpa, that you have raised. Because interestingly, Sankaran Nair had also served as the party's president. He was not just any ordinary foot soldier of the Congress party. He was the president of the Indian National Congress in the 1890s. He was invited to preside over the first provincial conference which met in Madras. Not to mention that he played a very pivotal role in demanding the dominion status for India. How would you like to describe his role in the freedom movement and within the Congress itself?
You see, when he was the president of the Congress at the Amravati session in 1897, he said he asked for self-government. He talked about India having a government and a governing authority similar to Canada and Australia, dominion status with their own elected representatives. This he continued while he was also in the Viceroy's Executive Council. When Lord Chelmsford did not agree, he wrote a minute of dissent, which then went to the English Parliament. Austen Chamberlain then adopted his views. That, you know, his argument was that more and more Indians should be governing or in the process of making laws to govern India. It was finally after the Jallianwala Bagh and the case that the whole of India said, we have to be free. And it was because of him that John Simon came to India for the Simon report to determine how this can be evolved. So he, right through his life, he was working towards self-governance by India. And after the case, it was full independence.
So he essentially is the one who unmasked the colonial rule, unmasked what it had unleashed in India, the brutality of colonization. However, we still don't know enough about him. Do you think perhaps it's a great disservice by the Congress that he was part of, by India on the whole, to not have championed him and hail him as the hero that he is?
But history is written by the
now
victors.
It doesn't matter. Now it's been revived. Kesari is taking it to the whole world. So
fair enough.
He got his C Sankaran Nair is getting his day. So he's getting his moment. Yes, and he did have it then as well. But maybe for some time we hadn't heard for him. But he's back worldwide.
But he was highly respected even until his death, because I have seen telegrams at home written by Lord Willingdon, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Jawaharlal Nehru, Mahatma Gandhi on his demise.
So it's not like his contributions went unnoticed, but perhaps we are going to now relive the contributions, and even this generation gets to know about it, not just Jawaharlal Nehru, Jinnah, all of whom had written to him. But what are the aspects of Jallianwala Bagh massacre, or the trial, if you may, do you feel are very important for filmmakers to emphasize on, to ensure that there is historical accuracy? Many people have wondered about this case. Tell us a bit about it.
The trial itself was such an eye-opener. We talk about trials being fair and, you know, the judge being impartial. Here we had a racist judge who actually argued on behalf of Sir Michael O'Dwyer, saying that, you know, they had saved India, the British Indian Empire. The judge summed up the argument. He did not allow Sir Nair's, all his witnesses to appear. The depositions were not read. And at every stage, he halted proceedings and supported Sir Michael O'Dwyer. That was a real eye-opener. The British system of justice was condemned.
In fact, there were any of these surprises. You just revealed one of them. Any other surprises that came in during your research? You obviously have done extensive research about it, about the trial or its participants, such as the one you were telling us about, General Dyer.
Absolutely. He's done honestly, he's done one of his most brilliant performances. The nuances are caught, and that is amazing. He's done an incredible job. He really has. And, you know, he plays Sankaran.
He's portrayed the character of my great-grandfather beautifully, because he would not buckle down to any authority. If he believed in a particular matter, irrespective of who it was, he would stick to his guns and fight. And Akshay Kumar has brought out that character beautifully.
Well, thank you so much, Pushpa, for joining us, as well as Mr. Palat, because it's important for us to retell these stories of valor, these stories of patriotism to the younger generation as well. This man, Sankaran Nair, he's not someone who cowered under biases of the British Raj. He's someone who fought back. This is his struggle that we must never forget. Thank you so much. Appreciated the Palats for joining us. They are, of course, the family members, the great-grandchildren of Sankaran Nair, the forgotten hero of India. But today, his legacy will definitely live on in cinematic history as well. Without a short break, don't go anywhere.